Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you. I am thrilled to be at Summers Point. Thank you. Please be seated, be seated. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I want to thank all the folks here at the VFW for hosting us today. Thank you for your service, and thanks for what you continue to do for our communities, members of VFW. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause, please. Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and there's 4 days left now. 4 days left, and let me make one thing as clear as I can possibly make it for everybody who's here and anybody who's listening. You're seeing a lot of the garbage being spread around this part of the state, that all of a sudden, these Democratic legislators have become bipartisan. All of a sudden, I'm the most popular darn guy in their TV commercials, aren't I? So let me make one thing perfectly clear. First, I need Amadeo and Brown back in the state assembly. Don't let them go anywhere. And here's the important one. Listen, all of a sudden, Jim Whalen's telling all of you, like he's my best friend. Right? You would think that Jim Whalen and I went to the prom together, for God's sake. I've seen these ads down here, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let me make you understand something. Jim Whalen is in the pocket of the special interest public sector unions in this state. He will not do anything to try to reform our education system. He will not do anything to cut taxes. He will not do anything to lower regulation. He will not do anything that I ask him to do until it's about 3 months before the election. I am tired of having Jim Whalen throw my name around this district. Let me make it clear. I want Sheriff Ballas to be Senator Ballas come November 5th. Let me say one word about all the garbage they're throwing on Sheriff Ballas. Here's the good thing about Frank being the candidate. You know him. You've gotten to know him over the years. And all this garbage they're putting out on TV, you all know, is nothing but the typical election year Jim Whalen BS. You know Jim Whalen. He acts like he's the nicest darn guy in the world, right? Grandfather Whalen, acting like the nicest guy in the world, right? He's everybody's buddy. He's going around shaking hands and patting backs and all the rest of that he does until it comes campaign time. And then he becomes an animal. That's what happens, right? You see it. You've seen it all over your TV sets. I've seen it in the YouTube videos that have been sent to me while I've been going around on the campaign. You cannot allow Senator Whalen to continue to get away with this. You can't be one person at campaign time and another person some other time. That's the kind of politician you cannot trust. You know Sheriff Ballas. He is the same man when the sun rises and when the sun sets every day, 365 days a year. He works for you. And I will tell you, if you send Whalen back down to the Senate, then we're going to continue to have the same obstructionism on issues that are important, the same grandstanding instead of teamwork, the same type of thing that I don't even think Jim Whalen wants to be a senator anymore. I really don't. I think he just likes to be down there for showtime and to collect the salary. I don't think he wants to do the work anymore, and I think that's the kind of campaign he's run for the last number of months. There's no reason why the sheriff had to do this except that he believes he can have a positive effect on making our state a better place and that he can serve the people of this district based on their needs, based upon their hopes and their aspirations. And so it's time now, okay, to button down. I know we're going to do well here on Tuesday, but my win, if that's what happens on Tuesday, will mean much less if you don't give me Frank Ballas in the state Senate at the same time. Are you ready to do that for me? See, because you're used to having great representation. You're used to having great representation in this county. You have the best county executive in New Jersey, Danny Levinson. You've got great freeholders, all of them. All of our Republican freeholders are outstanding. They do a great job running this county with Denny. And you got great mayors, like the mayor here in Summers Point. You guys do a great job. So don't settle for second-class representation in the New Jersey State Senate. Don't settle for somebody who really doesn't want the job, and the way he proves it is all he does is try to tear down his opponent. Nothing positive out of him, nothing about what Atlantic County's future should be. And so we're going to keep fighting for the next 4 days. Let me say a little bit about the polls. Now, polls, everyone looks at them, and any politician who tells you they don't look at the polls, they are lying. We all look at them. We all read them. We all pay attention to them. Now, the sheriff is one of those folks who looks at these polls, he sees them, he understands what they mean, but he moves forward on the things that he believes in. In the same way with me, you all know, my poll numbers go up and they go down based on what comes out of my mouth, which you know can be very variable at times, right? Very variable at times. And so we don't worry about those things, but here's what we got to think about in the last 4 days of an election. We've got these polls that show me up by a lot across the whole state. And let's face it, I'd rather be up than down, right? So I'm not complaining. But here's what I'm worried about. A woman I met yesterday in Parsippany, the Empire Diner. She comes up to me and she says, "Governor, I'm so excited to meet you. We love you." I said, "Well, thank you. It's so nice." And she said, "And I can't wait to vote for you for president in 2016. And I said, "Well, that's really nice, except I got an election on Tuesday that I'd like you to consider voting in." And she said to me, "Oh, you got that wrapped up." All right. This is a sophisticated audience in here who have been involved in a lot of elections over your lives. You know nothing's won until Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Nothing's won. And that's what I'm out here doing 50 stops in 6 days in all 21 counties, in all 40 legislative districts. But as I travel around out here, if we do what we're supposed to do over the next 4 days, if those of you who are volunteering for me or Frank are going to really kick it into overdrive now in these last 4 days, if you're willing to really keep working on knocking on the doors, being on the phones, telling people, and not just that, but even if you're not a volunteer today for me or for Frank, we need you to sign up today to do what you can do, and that's this. I want you to be soldiers for the two of us for the next 4 days, if you haven't been already. I need you to talk to your neighbors and your friends. I need you to talk to your relatives and your coworkers. I need you to talk to the people you see in the checkout line at the supermarket and the people that you see on the football or soccer fields this weekend. I need you to talk to the folks who you see in the church parking lot tomorrow. I need you to talk to the folks who you see first thing when you walk into work on Monday morning. And I need you to tell them two things. First, I've met the governor. I've looked him in the eye. I've taken the measure of him. I've seen the job he's done for the last 4 years, and I'm voting for him. If you like the governor and you're going to vote for him, then your vote is diminished if you don't go just one spot down or one spot over, because I don't know, which way is the ballot here? Down. All right. It's different all over the state, so you got to remember. You go one spot down and you pull the lever for the governor's legislative candidates. You have to vote for Frank Ballas if you're going to vote for Chris Christie. There is no reason, there is no rhyme, no reason, no sense to vote for Chris Christie and then turn around and vote for Jim Whalen. It makes no sense. Those two votes, that's used to be like my mother and father. My mother was a Democrat. Yeah, I know. We worked on her. She eventually voted for Ronald Reagan. She's not stupid. My dad's a Republican. Every year before the elections, they would argue with each other, try to bring each other over to the other side, and then they'd go in and they'd cancel each other's vote out. My mother would go vote for John Kennedy, and my father would vote for Richard Nixon. And so on, and so on, and so on as the years went on. That's understandable because couples can have differences of opinion. Don't have a difference of opinion with yourself. Don't vote for Chris Christie, then vote for Jim Whalen, for God's sake. At least be consistent with what you want to do for yourself. He's earned your vote. He's earned your support. And if you support me, I'm telling you, for you, your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, your co-workers, you have to vote for Frank Ballas. We have to win this Senate seat to be able to cut taxes in New Jersey, to lower regulation, to reform education, and to keep moving our state forward in the 21st century for great jobs for our kids and grandkids. Are you going to help me elect Frank Ballas to the Senate? Now, you know, over the course of time, sure. Listen, ma'am, come on up, whatever you like. I'll be happy to endorse anybody you want today if it's going to make you happy. Well, we're going to, you know, I mean, if she's part of the package deal. You know, Ballas is just lucky to have her, for God's sake. This guy's out there going, he knows it, he knows it. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've had any number of people, as I've traveled around into great groups like this and campaigns all over the state, ask me a question. And since most of you probably won't get to do what I get to do, it's probably good for me to tell you what the question was and give you the answer too. I've had people come up to me a number of times over the past few weeks and say, what's it like? What's it like to run for governor of New Jersey? What's it like to be the nominee of your party and to go from state, county to county to county to county and ask people for their vote as their governor? And it's an amazing thing. And it is a great honor and a great privilege. And I've had some of my other fellow governors, guys like Scott Walker in Wisconsin and Rick Snyder in Michigan, call me this week and wish me good luck, check in with me to see how I'm doing. And they ask how things are going in the campaign. It's the same kind of question, so I gave them the same answer I'm going to give to all of you. I'll tell you a story. There's probably 24 stories I could tell you, but I'm going to tell you this one, because I like this one. About 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, I was at the South Mountain Arena in West Orange. And it's big, 2-surface ice rink. They had both the surfaces covered over. And it was for a senior wellness day. You had 3,000 senior citizens in this arena, getting their blood pressure checked, having nurses go over their medications with them, getting nutritional advice, and then also getting lunch served to them and having some bands play. They were dancing, having a good time, and it was a circus. And I wasn't going to give a speech at something like this. I gave up, said hello real quick, and got off the stage. And then I just went around from table to table to greet folks, introduce myself, and ask them for their support. So I went from table to table, and I finally went to this one table, tapped this lady on the shoulder to get her attention. She turned around, said, "Hi, ma'am, I'm Chris Christie." And she said, "Hi, I'm Gladys." I said, "Hey, Gladys." And she stood up, and I said, "Gladys, where are you from?" She said, "I'm from Newark, New Jersey, Governor. I've been there my whole life." And I said, "Well, it's nice to meet you." And she goes, "Well, I didn't vote for you last time." I said, "That's okay. Lots of people didn't, so don't worry about it." She said, "But I'm voting for you this time." I said, "Well, thank you, Gladys. That's really nice." And she said to me, "You know, Governor, I've been praying for you every night since Hurricane Sandy. I've prayed for you every night." I said, "Well, that's really nice. I appreciate that, Gladys." She said, "Then 3 weeks ago, I saw that awful fire on the boardwalk in Seaside Park." And she said, I was watching on TV. She She said, and I saw you standing there with the fire behind you. You were behind those microphones. And I have to tell you, Governor, for the first time in 4 years, I was really worried about you. I was worried about you because you looked tired. You looked really tired. And I said, well, it was not a good day. So, yeah, I probably wasn't looking my best. And she said to me, so that night I said a special prayer for you. I said, well, thanks. She said, you want to hear it? I said, sure, okay. I'd love to hear it. Special prayer. She said, that night, right before I went to bed, I said, Lord, please give our governor strength, because I don't know how much more shit this boy can take. True story. True story. And I tell other people, I said, that's what it's like to run for governor in New Jersey. You want to know what it's like? Those are my people. People like Gladys, this dignified 82-year-old African-American woman, dressed beautifully, soft-spoken, telling me she's praying for me every night, right? And only in New Jersey, could that kind of woman look at the governor and say, here's the special prayer, and use the word Lord and the word shit within 2 sentences of each other. It's only in New Jersey. And see, and Denny makes my point for me. Denny just said in my ear, and only in New Jersey would the governor actually repeat that story publicly. And that's part of the point. See, here's the thing. I was born here, and I was raised here, and I've spent my whole life here. Nobody needed to introduce me to the people of New Jersey. We know each other. I'm one of you. And so no one needed to teach me how to talk in New Jersey. No one needed to teach me how to act in New Jersey. Nobody needed to teach me how to lead in New Jersey. I spent my whole life here. And so, as we get to these last 4 days, I know you. I'm one of you. And that's why I'm having so much fun in this job. And that's why you notice how much fun I'm having in this job. Because I suspect that for many of you, if you were the one standing up here behind this podium, you'd be having a lot of fun too. The troubles are big sometimes, and the problems are really difficult. And there are days, especially in the last year, when I wonder whether we're really going to be able to do the things that we need to do. But whenever I feel that way, I just make sure I go out and visit the people of this state. And even through their tears, they give me strength. Even through their suffering, they give me hope. And it's my job to return it. It's my job to return it and to get the job done that you gave me to do. And so these last 4 days are about getting to as many parts of this state as I possibly can and letting you know that the greatest honor and privilege I will ever have in my life will be the honor and privilege you've given me over the last 4 years, to be the governor of the state where I was born and raised. And now that Mary Pat and I raise all 4 of our children here, and this is where we want to live out the rest of our lives, it matters to us, like it matters to you, what kind of state we're going to hand over to our children and our grandchildren. And that's what the stakes are in this election. So when I tell you that I want another 4 years, it's not just because I'm on some exercise because I like the title. It's because there are things still left to accomplish. And I don't believe, in fact I know, that my opponent not only wouldn't accomplish those goals, she wouldn't even understand them. And here's the thing. She's now in the last 4 days of a campaign that is fueled by anger. Beware of campaigns that are fueled by anger instead of hope. Because now, she'll call me every name in the book. It's hard for me to keep count how many names she's called me in the last few days. And I feel badly for her supporters, because they deserve better than that. They deserve a vision for the future. And they deserve somebody who knows them and trusts them enough to look at them and tell them the truth, and not engage in the type of petty politics that she's engaging in against me and Jim Whalen's engaging in against the sheriff. So here's what my deal with Frank is from here forward. I'm not going to engage in that type of garbage, and neither is he. Because he is a better public servant than that, and so am I. And here's the thing that's going to really drive him crazy on Tuesday. We're both going to win anyway. So I'll end with this. It's time. It's time now. It's time for us to work together to bring this thing over the finish line. No more strategizing left. No more new commercials. No more new pieces of mail. It's Saturday. All that's over. Thank God for you. That's all over. What it's down to now is, who wants it more? Who believes in who more? Who's going to stand up for who more? I've worked hard for the last 4 years to earn your trust and earn your support, earn your faith and your confidence. And now's when it's time for us to deliver for each other. Time for me to continue to work hard right through 8 o'clock on Tuesday. And time for you to stand up for me and Frank and the rest of the great candidates up here, and reward us for doing the job the way you want us to do it. If you reward bad behavior, just like it happens with kids, if you reward bad behavior, you're going to get more bad behavior. If you reward maturity and leadership, then you're going to get more maturity and you're going to get more leadership in your government. He's shown it to you. He's shown it to you as your sheriff. He comes to Trenton with me. If you've liked the last 4 years, you are going to love the next 4 years, everybody. So it is time for everybody. It's time for everybody when we leave here to get out of your seats, to go home, to get a big piece of paper out, to sit down and say, what can I do in the next 72 hours to make a difference for the governor, to make a difference for Frank, to make a difference for the entire Republican ticket? What's left for me to do? Make up that list and put a check mark next to each one of them as you do them, and finish the job between now and 8 o'clock on Tuesday. If you do that, then we are going to have another 4 years of hope and strength in the governor's office, and we're going to have a new day in Legislative District 2 when you have a state senator who's working for you, not the special interests, who's listening to you, not the people who get the money into his campaigns, who's listening to it based upon what's in his heart, not what notes are slid in front of him by the special interest group in Trenton. If that's the kind of difference that you want in your government, you got a once-in-a-generation chance right now to get it done in the next 4 days. If you're willing to work hard with me, I'm willing to work hard with you. If you're willing to work hard with Frank, he's going to work hard with you. And if we all work together, remember, Tuesday night, America's watching. America is watching, and they want a new signal of hope for the country's future after all the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. And they're going to look to New Jersey for that hope, and we are going to provide it for them on Tuesday. Thank you all very much.